The Pathetic Life of Optimism. Welcome to this edition of Socially Inept Thoughts. My name is Clint. If you guys could, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Really like what I'm doing here, bringing value to younger men and whoever. Yeah, without further ado, let's get back to the video. It's a strange position to be in. I'm a pretty optimistic person in how I view myself, how I view life, especially at this stage. I think the more you are stripped down and the more you just release shit of your past and things that you used to do just because you thought it was the right thing to do. And when you strip that, you become just a genuine, authentic person yourself. You don't lie about what's important to you. You accept that there's going to be people that leave you, people that don't believe in you and all that stuff. And to still hold that same optimism, even during all those situations, I think it's the biggest superpower you can have as a person, in my opinion. You get the rolling of eyes. You get people that really don't really like, they're like, oh, okay, bud. You know, you get those type of like, oh, when are you going to get the real job? When are you going to get the... It's always, yeah, but you know, that's just not how society works, that type of thing, right? Coming from people who can't even get their own house in order. You know, can't even control their own sexual urges, but they're here telling you how society works. But okay. You kind of alienate others with your self-belief. Like, you almost like it's annoying to them. And others can only see you for your current situation. And it leads to labels and name calling. Like, no matter how tough your situation, you know, stuff comes up. Hey, you know, I had a bad day today, couldn't make enough money, this happened, I lost this or whatever. But you still like, I'm gonna wake up the next day and I'm still gonna just keep going at it. I'm still gonna record these videos even after a tough week of whatever the fuck is happening in the algorithm. You just still keep on going. And people will sit there and say, I don't think you're driven. I don't think you're this. You're not showing me enough, you know, to show that you care. You know, all that type of stuff. You get all of that. Because it's easy for other people to make assumptions about you because they're only focused on today and yesterday and the past month. But they ignore your long history of being in a great position. And people that for the first time get any type of success going for them, even after years, they have this weird feeling about them. They start having this superiority type of thing. They've never actually done anything before. But they get a few things going well for them. And from afar, I'll be honest, you look and you're like, knowing this person, it's probably not sustainable. But I hope it works out for them, regardless of what they think about me. Because even if someone thinks negative about me, I would never purposely think negative in that way. I'm not a tit for tat type of person. But the second someone feels you can't do nothing for them, they don't really care about you. It's almost like you doing your thing bothers the living fuck out of them. It would make them feel more comfortable if you lived the life they wish you would live. But you decide to do your own thing. You're like, no, I'll have delayed gratification. I don't need a few extra dollars today just to take time away from things I enjoy. I don't need it. And that bothers the fuck out of people when you say no to things. Because they look at, if they were in your position, they would just say yes. God damn it, my nose. Because they were in your position, they would say yes. They would be begging for change, you know, virtually speaking. They would be taking any and every type of opportunity just to scrape up a few coins. Because they always feel this survival mode. And you're over here with no money and all that stuff, and their perception of you is, oh, this person's a bum, he can't do it, and all that stuff. Not know what I'm actually building, that I'm slowly building, and that it's more about not today, not next week. I've lived in that living for the day mindset of just, oh, how much I make, and then you like, every day is just about trying to make the most amount of money, and that's not really what it's about. But your optimism of belief in yourself and what you're building, where that won't even be a problem in the near future, if people don't see the immediate results, their perception, they roll their eyes, they think you're just a guy out here just, you know, fucking around. Like, I'll just say, like, my ex-girlfriend now, you know, she ghosted me for a few days, and then she said what I thought was the case, and she didn't want to be with me anymore. All I said was, okay, that's fine. Not in a bitter way, but like, there's no need to really, when someone takes time, they really thought about it, I respect the decision. I'm not going to sit here and beg for somebody like that. But I would never wish her bad or anything, but there was definitely a lot, I noticed during the process, me not making money made her treat me different. And I already knew that. But what I never did is every time she would pressure me X, Y, and Z, I never gave in. Not out of bitterness, not out of like a power move. It's because I genuinely did not care what other people thought I should do. I know what I've been building. I know what matters to me. And I'm not going to do something just to make someone feel better from a public perception. You want to go be with someone potentially that has more, fine. You can focus on that today. But I'm okay with that. I accepted it. I accepted that this path is going to turn people off. I accepted that I can't be upset that someone wouldn't want to stay in a situation that's, you know, immediately uncertain. I'm not going to hold that against someone. But does it feel great to be left? Because one of the main reasons is I wouldn't just take any job to make her feel better. No. And that's going to sound cold, it's going to sound callous. Oh, well, if you wouldn't do that, it's not about that. It's not clocking to you, bro. No. Because when you've actually worked hard for money in your life, you realize when the exchange is not worth it, what comes with it. And you realize if you're not really making money like that, you don't really have a need to spend it either. So if it's not in alignment for what you're working towards, then, you know, it's not really that important to me. You'll get labels, lazy, I'm not going to be with someone. Alright, fine. But when it all works out, either, you know, keep that same energy. You know, I hate to say it, but and let's say, you know, 6 months from now, everything starts going well. I'm making a great little more money I ever made. And they were to try to reconnect with me and be like, you know, I'm happy to see you're doing well. All I would say was thank you. That's all I would say. I would not be like, oh, you didn't believe it, I'll just be like, thank you. And if they were to try to rekindle something, in my mind, when I see the text of, I don't have the same feelings for you anymore after you ghosted me for 3 days, you know, even if I were to ever think about my feelings towards a person and all the good stuff we could have had, I would see that, and then I'll remember all the times this person made me feel less than for not making money today. And how, even though we didn't live together, we weren't married, we didn't have any kids together, and it's like, oh, it became a focal problem for everything for no fucking reason. And I would remember that, because then when I do have that stuff, if I'm consistent with who I am as a person, just because I have that stuff now doesn't mean I owe you anything. Because you treated me like less than when I didn't have it. How someone treats you when you don't have something, when you have nothing to offer them in the moment, tells you everything of what they think about you. And I say this because the pathetic life of optimism is this right here. Is you can have all the optimism in the world of yourself and what you believe and what you're working towards, and how you try to focus on what's good in life and not focus on everything that's wrong with people. But that doesn't mean that's how you're going to get treated. You're going to have people, because they know you think positively about it, they're going to try to find a way to balance you, to kind of stoop you down, humble you. They want everyone to kind of be on the same wavelength as them, because when they tell their friends about you, they don't want to say they're with a guy who has a dream, or that's a traitor, or like, no one wants to say that shit. People would rather say, oh, you know, he's in management and X, Y, and Z. It makes them feel like, oh, there's something to brag about this person. And I would rather have delayed gratification and miss out on a few things, and maybe if someone doesn't believe in me, they don't. But then when it does happen, you know, attract the type of person that wouldn't care about that. It's really made me think, to be honest. I think I'll always just lie about my job, even if I make a lot of money from it. I think I'll always just say something general, like, just make up some bullshit. Yeah, I work at, you know, just a warehouse, temp job type of thing. I think I'll just always say that. Because it doesn't really matter how much money you make. It really is like the title can lie about. Like, someone, I would just lie that someone that, yeah, you know, this is my job, and really I'm at home all day just trading stocks or something, and that's how I make a great living, you know? Lie about it. Because I don't want to be treated irregular. I want to be treated fairly. But as a guy, that's just not the case. You got to accept that. And that's the thing, when you become an optimistic person, when you're a person where you have strong conviction of who you are, and there's going to be people that try to change you, and people like, that's just, you gotta, they always like to say, you gotta live in reality. Really what it is they want to be able to have some type of control over your life. People are obsessed with having control over other lives, but they can't even get an ounce of control of their own. So they feel if they control their surrounding parts, everyone can work around their schedule, evolve around their comfort and insecurities. And when you're a person who's pretty optimistic in who you are, you try to see the good in things, you know, you always think that it's going to be a better day tomorrow, no matter what happens. And the pathetic life of that is you're probably going to go through droughts in the beginning stages where you're going to feel like you're letting people down, that you disappointed people, that you didn't live up to some expectation because you didn't bend your will. You didn't bend your beliefs to make someone happy or to make others happy. You didn't try to live a lifestyle that you don't believe in anymore. And you're going to have to live with the uncertainty and the great risk. You know, when they say the big risk you take in life, it's not about the direct thing. Like, I took a big risk in this, so I made a big investment in myself. So either all this money I put in myself is either going to make me a shitload of money or I'm going broke. That's not what you got to worry about. Like, hey, if you go broke, then you have no money. And you'll be the same person, you'll have the same interests, life will be, not be as fun. But you can always make more money, you know? You could bounce back from personal failure. The risk is everything that comes apart with it. When people created these big ass companies we have now from a young age, they had to sacrifice time, they had to sacrifice relationships, they had to sacrifice marriages. Marriages didn't work out. They didn't even see their kids and stuff. And I'm not rational in saying that. They had the, you know, they're gonna have people that they dated in the past call them selfish and all this stuff. And you may get some labels and all that stuff. By the end of the day, the result's the result. You did exactly what you said you would do. But people feel so entitled in ways that they feel like they should have been the one worth it to stop what you were doing and to change your whole life for a person that only wanted you to change for them, but they wouldn't have made the same sacrifice for you. And I think this is why it's very important. You can be optimistic about something, but not think that everything along the way is just gonna follow you along and trust you. Part of being optimistic is that you gotta accept that some people don't have the same belief in you, or belief in themselves, or belief that things can happen because of things that have nothing to do with you. You know, they always say that you could be a mirror to people's insecurities. And I do think that could be true. And I think it can sometimes, people can do well for themselves, and they'll still look and feel like they don't want people in their immediate circle, people in their immediate life to do just as well as them. People have that weird competition with them. People sometimes, they'll be in relationships and partnerships where, you know, they may say they want someone to make a lot. There's some women that don't want their men to be in any type of power. As weird as that may sound. They like the feeling that they can control someone else. There's a satisfaction people get out of that. We are all seeking control in some aspects of our life. And I think for you as an individual, if you believe in what you're doing, don't let anything stop it. It doesn't mean you care less about other people. It doesn't mean that you just blindly do shit to do shit. But, you know, if you spent that much time in the process of your beliefs, you might as well see it through. Because if you were to stop everything you're doing and conform to someone else, bend your will, they're going to leave you just as fast anyways. And anyone that would stop you from doing what you believe in doesn't really care about you anyways. I would say optimistic people don't feel like the world has to conform to them. They understand that they have to run an 18-wheeler through everything to make shit happen. Pessimistic people that blame surroundings, blame other people for their unhappiness, blame policies, blame politics and all that shit. Pessimistic people, they find the wrong in everything. They only focus on what can go wrong with anything. Those are people that feel like everyone needs to change for them. Optimistic people are people that they only want to see good happen. They're willing to do it for themselves, and if someone were to come up to them with the idea or dream they had, their first instinct wouldn't be realistic. It would be, why not think about doing more with that? Have you started it? Everyone has ideas, start it, you know? You can tell immediately when you tell someone of something you want to do or a belief, and their first instinct is typically, well, you know, it hasn't gone well for a year, maybe you should not do it anymore. it's like, if you always quit after a year or something, then you'll never get good at anything. So, yeah, you will, another point, part of what comes with the territory is you will be uncomfortable for extended periods of times. But for you, it feels normal. Others would be stressed and crumble while you just keep going. I'm so sorry for touching my nose so much. I hate, there's like some randomly just fucking making my nose itch. But part of optimism is being a pathetic, optimistic person. Is you can sit there and shit, and you can sit there in a pond of shit, but then you see a little duck floating. You're like, hey, there's a duck. Trying to find any light in a literal shitty situation. Trying to find something you could take away. Like, oh, I trade, so you know what, I don't mind. I'll make a trading reference. Like, I made a complete wrong analysis, and then I have to take a big loss for no fucking reason because I was impulsive. And then I look at it and I'm like, well, shit. This is a reminder to not trade till this time like I said I would, you know? And you can't be mad at anyone but yourself. Like, oh, I noticed this pattern, and it's the same pattern I've seen before, but I was just too impatient. But you focus on just the impulsive, bad decision you made, but not thinking like, well, hey, this is actually probably a sign of this may happen next. So then, instead of getting down and just like leaving and never like trading for the rest of the day or the week because you get discouraged, feel like you got to reevaluate it, be like, wait a minute, something is changing. Let me sit down and let me just watch for a few minutes. And maybe you enter into another trade and you follow that direction of what's going on. And you actually make your money and then some. And then you have that confidence to keep going. It really is about never giving up. And when you're a pathetic optimist, sometimes to a fault, you never give up. You blindly just believe in yourself. You're delusional. God, this is starting to bother the living shit out of me. You just have this blind, delusional belief in yourself. And I think when people feel that from you, and they try to persuade you, and they just can't. They can't sway you in whatever direction. And they're used to being able to control people. When you are someone that cannot be controlled, for people that like to have that power in their life, it bothers the living shit out of them. And they'll start, then that's when the name calling comes in. You're not this, you're not that, blah, 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 all that stuff. Then you become numb to it, then it means absolutely nothing. And it actually happens over time is the more someone keeps saying something to you, it almost confirms your beliefs. Like, you know what, I should be doing this. Because the more people are against something, there's typically a reason. There's always heavy resistance before the breakthrough. And I've just been feeling a lot more of that resistance towards me. And I've also been seeing the progress, and the breakthrough is fucking coming. You know, not to be all like, oh, you know, it's about to change the world. But, you know, there's always some signs. Whether it's from the universe, whether it's your actions, your behaviors have led this heavy resistance that would make most people fold. It's almost like if you believe in God, it's like God trying to confirm, like, all right, let's see if you're really about this. I'm about to have your girlfriend leave you. I'm about to make you go broke again, and you're about to lose your insurance. You're about to lose this and that and the other. let's see if you really are what you say you're about to do. And it's almost like I'm in that judgment time. Like, it is time. Like, you feel like, all right, the preparation, the blah blah blah, fucking around, a little bit of this, but lose here. It's like the market, you know, for example, the market, it's starting to take action. Am I going to have the balls to actually follow through and take advantage, or am I going to sit on my hands and be scared? And it's where my preparation is going to really meet opportunity, and am I going to take advantage of it? And I think that's what the next couple weeks is about to find out, because most people can't think straight when their girlfriend leaves them because they don't have any money. They don't know what to do with themselves, because their whole value, all the time they put this on. And I'm just like, you know what? Use this as an opportunity to confirm to myself that I am doing the right thing. So yeah. But yeah. Ended there. There's this bee going around. My nose is fucking itching. My butt hurts from the tree stump. But yeah. That was this edition of Socially Inept Thoughts. My name is Clint. If you guys could, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. So yeah. Meet.